"How dangerous a rhinoceros is?" asked Hobbes, frowning. Mr. Cat looked puzzled. "The rhinos? They're not really dangerous at all, so long as they're confined to their enclosure and we're safely out here. Why'd you ask?" "I wondered if that little girl was safe," said Hobbes. "What? Oh, hell!" Mr. Cat groaned. The child was running through the enclosure, presumably having squeezed under the wire and clambered across a ditch. She was heading for her sun hat, which must have blown off. One of the rhinos raised its head, staring, ears twitching, ambling towards her. The other, looking up, trotted after it. "If something startles them, they might charge," said Mr. Cat, his ruddy complexion having turned the same greenish colour as the dried mud caked on the rhino's backside. "Then I'd better get her out," said Hobbes, "because she's public, and it's my job to protect her." "No," said Mr. Cat, his voice almost a shriek. "You might alarm them and—" But Hobbes, vaulting the high steel gate into the enclosure, was already speeding towards the girl. Then a tall, thin woman, unmistakably a schoolteacher, even at a distance, noticing a charge, called out a sharp command. The child, running towards the wall, was pulled to safety and given a stern rebuke. Mr. Cat and I had barely moved, understanding how it felt to be rooted to the spot. Hobbes, slowing to a jog as he saw the girl was safe, bent to pick up her hat. Both rhinos charged. Mr. Cat and I yelled in unison, "Look out!" Though the rhinos' massive feet were kicking up dust and turf as they pounded the dry pasture into a thundering rhythm like a troupe of Japanese drummers, Hobbes didn't appear to have noticed. Cold horror clutched my insides, for surely not even he could withstand a direct hit from a pair of 3-ton rhinos. The first one lowered its horn, and I shuddered, imagining the scene when I told Mrs. Goodfellow of his untimely and messy end. Then, straightening up, brushing the dust from the hat, he sprang into a twisting somersault, carrying him straight over the first rhino. Landing, with a gymnast's poise in time to meet the second one, he vaulted it, as if playing leapfrog, his teeth glittering in a grin of pure exhilaration. Before the bewildered creatures had skidded to a halt, he had hauled himself from the enclosure and was handing the hat back to the little girl, touching his forehead in salute as she and her friends goggled open-mouthed. The rhinos, seeing no sign of their target, obviously assumed they'd pulped him into oblivion, swaggered back across the field. If they'd exchanged high fives, I wouldn't have been surprised. Actually, I would have been, but there was no denying they were exuding an air of smug achievement. The grin was still on Hobbes's face when he rejoined us. "You can have a lot of fun with rhinos," he said, "but we're here for a look at your leopards." "Oh, yes, all right," said Mr. Cat, rubbing his sleeve over his face. "That was a remarkable thing you just did." "Not really. The child needs a hat on such a hot day. Anyone would have done the same." "Of course they would," I said, nodding my agreement. Hobbes chuckled, patting me on the back. I picked myself up, brushing down my trousers, following as he propelled a shaking Mr. Cat towards the leopard enclosure. Dregs, who'd been investigating a lamppost, appeared not to have noticed anything out of the ordinary. "You should have seen that," I told him. "Who'd have thought a big bastard like him could do a backward somersault in mid-air? From a standing start, too." Dregs wagged his tail to indicate he'd have thought it.